so much, everyone, for staying with us. We've been monitoring for you the situation in Rivers State, the political crossings, and some of the drama that is brewing there. The governor had come out to talk about the substantial debt burden inherited from the past administration. He said this today. Don't forget that yesterday, or it was over the weekend, the governor said that he's going to probe the governance in the state of the past years. Let me allow you to listen to what he said today.
I heard somebody saying when we came on board, we were fighting federal government. Federal government did not use any instruments in your state to frustrate you. Our scenarios are quite different. If we are fighting federal government, it's a different matter. We're talking about federal government that is giving us support, but the rat in the house that is eating the bag of curry. So you can imagine such situation. Huh? But we have already said the attack who has finished. If there is one problem this administration has, is debt. Most of the projects that are being commissioned, they are coming for their balance payments, and it's running in millions and billions. I've said I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk because I am part of that system. But when you keep pushing me to talk, I will say it so that they will see the nyash of the fowl.
That is Governor Simlai Fubara dead, of course. So you heard what former Governor Yinsam Wike said about him making a mistake. The Governor Fubara has responded. Well, let's get to clarity on some of the legality around these issues. I'm being joined by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Wahab Shitu, who joins us live from our Lagos studio. It's good to see you again, Leonard Stick.
Nice to be here. So you're doing a good job. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much indeed. Yeah, before I drag you to the Rivers politics and the legality around the back and forth, what do you make of the cybersecurity levy directive of the federal government now that there is a reversal or a suspension of that directive? What do you make of it?
Well, usually, I don't like to comment, except I have a considered, position to make. I would rather want to suspend my comment on that because that's not the subject of your invitation extended to me.
Yes, I understand, but it was a story that just came in, which is a major national issue. So you know what has happened over the past days? Nigerians agitated about that levy, and it does look like that outcry and agitations of Nigerians, the federal government has listened and yielded to it. And I thought that as a very senior member of the INABA, you might have some views on when people talk and the government seems to be responding. What is the implication of such a situation?
I have some views to express, but usually I like expressing a considered view based on reasons the research. I've not taken my time to research that subject, and so I wouldn't want to be misleading the public, most of whom are even much more knowledgeable than I am on such subjects. So I would rather like to have a considered, well-researched view before I express it.
Well-respected position, and I won't push further. But let me ask you, what is happening in Rivers State, legally speaking? What do you make of it?
Thank you. That is the subject of your invitation extended to me. It's a constitutional issue, and I believe the answer to the impasse in Rivers State can only be, located within the framework of the Constitution. A lot of issues have been thrown up, whether the governor has the right to relocate the House of Assembly in the manner he has announced, whether the governor has a right under the law to probe with the former governor of the state, and whether the appointment of the Attorney General of the state in the circumstances in which he was appointed, whether it's legal, lawful, and complete. Those are some of the issues that I see, and I don't know which one you want me to specifically respond to.
Let's begin with perhaps the one that is the latest. It was only yesterday that the governor said he will probe past governance. And today he is saying that the government of Rivers State is so much indebted. In that situation, how much of a legal logjam or a constitutional issue would that be?
Thank you. The question is whether the governor of Rivers State has the powers, the constitutional powers, to probe the former governor. Now, if you look at the Rivers State Commission of Inquiry Act, specifically Section 2, subsection 1 of that act, it empowers the governor, when you combine the exercise of that powers with Section 5, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, then you will say, yes, the governor of Rivers State has the powers to probe the former governor if they are proving cases deserving such probe. If derives that power, you can set up a judicial commission of inquiry. You can also set up a commission of inquiry under the Rivers State Commission of Inquiry law of 1999, particularly Section 2, subsection 1 thereof, when combined with the provision of Section 5, subsection 2 of the Constitution. The outcome of such probe cannot be determined at this stage, but whether in exercise of his executive powers, he can initiate such a probe. The answer, in my view, is yes.
So what, of course, we do know, in what manner would it be? I'm not sure that, so a probe panel will be set up. Is that what the law says, the status? Is that what it says?
Well, if you look at Section 2, subsection 1 of the Tribunal of Inquiry law of Rivers State, 1999, it empowers the governor of Rivers State, in exercise of the powers conferred under that law, to constitute a commission of 2 or more commissioners, and including a secretary appointed by him, to look into the conduct of anyone in the public service of Rivers State, or anyone who has managed or any affairs of a Rivers State, in order to determine whether there are cases of corruption or wastages or whatever. Now, the question that arises is whether the governor, the former governor of Rivers State, can be said to be in the public service of Rivers State as we speak. But he was in the public service of Rivers State because, as the executive governor of the state, he supervised the activities of public servants, and then he was a public officer. But whether now that he's now serving as the governor of Rivers State, he can be so probed, is a question of interpretation. But in exercise of the powers conferred on the governor of Rivers State under that Section 2, subsection 1, particularly also the powers conferred on the governor of every state, including the governor of Rivers State, under Section 5, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the governor of a state can probe, can institute a probe in order to determine whether a case of corruption has arisen or a case of wastages has arisen. The only 3 limitations to the exercise of the powers under Section 5, subsection 2 of the Constitution are: it must not, in the exercise of such powers, impede the exercise of executive powers of the Federation. It must also not do anything that will derogate on the continuance of the Federation. And it must also not tamper with any investment or asset of the federal government in that state in the exercise of such executive powers. Those are the 2 limitations.
You know, I don't know if Rivers State has an anti-graft agency like we have in some other states, because some states of the federation now have their own local anti-graft agencies. But in that sense, the report of that kind of probe panel, where does it end? Where does it go to? Does it go to court?
Well, the report of
through a judicial review, a judicial process.
Well, in the specific case of River State, for instance, the governor will be exercising such powers under Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Commission of Inquiry Law of River State, 1999. Now, that is a law of the River State House of Assembly. And at the end of such findings of the Commission of Inquiry, of course, the recommendations will be presented to the governor. The outcome of that Tribunal of Inquiry Act, proceedings, by way of recommendation.
If anyone is found guilty, let us take, what happens to the person?
Of course, a white paper will also be issued after the government studies the recommendations. And government can only prosecute on the strength of the white paper. If the white paper says there's a prima facie case, and that some persons should be prosecuted, then, of course, the law enforcement agencies and then the Attorney General of the state will initiate criminal prosecution. But
okay,
let's take a breather. The recommendation of the Tribunal of Inquiry, but on the strength of the white paper, sequel to the Commission of Inquiry.
This is a contractual issue, because when a government enters into a contract with a contractor, is indebted to the contractor to the extent of the dictate and the letters of that contract, isn't it? So the present government may not be able to vitiate or run away from that contract. So it's tied to the life of that contract. So it becomes a major problem. What do you see? Because the governor is complaining that this money is being withdrawn from the source.
Well, whatever the present governor of Rivers State is saying, I'm happy that he also acknowledged that he was also part and parcel of that same government. Governor Fubara was a part and parcel of the administration of Governor Wike. He played a fundamental role in that government. So if he's saying something went wrong in that government, as far as debts incurred is concerned, in my view, that will also amount to some kind of self-indictment. I'm happy that he also acknowledged that in his statement, that he was a part and parcel of that same government. Aside from that, government is a continuum. It's work in progress. Now, if former Governor Wike said he awarded contracts, the question we should ask, did he award such contracts? I recall that the reputation that Governor Wike had before he left office, he was generally acknowledged as Mr. Projects. He was seen commissioning projects here and there, all over Rivers State. And the general consensus is that he was a performer. Now, he couldn't have been executing these projects using his own personal resources. He probably got some facilities to execute some of these projects. The question to be asked is whether in the execution of these projects, it was for the collective benefit of the state, or whether he derived some personal benefit by way of corruption and wastages. That remains to be proved. I think in a conflict situation, truth is the first major casualty. In the context in which Governor Fubara made the allegations, in the context of the crisis taking place in Rivers State, there are allegations and counter-allegations, some born out of political expediency. So I think right now, it is safe for everybody to keep an open mind. I will not say Governor Wike is innocent, I will also not say Governor Wike is guilty. I will not say Governor Fubara's allegations amount to falsehood. I will also not say the allegations are untrue. What I will say is that until these allegations are properly investigated and there's a prima facie proof of guilt or indictment, I think it is convenient for everybody to just assume that, oh, politicians are playing their games. They are making wide allegations here and there. Some of these allegations have been made by the Wike camp. Some of these allegations have been made by the Fubara camp. What is important, and what one can say is that the gladiators are busy playing politics here and there. But politics is quite different from criminalities. When you allege a crime, the commission of a crime against anyone, you must satisfy the element of proof. You must be able to establish whatever allegations.
Just before you close for us tonight, there is one very confusing or rather disturbing scenario playing out. And this is also around the issue of governance and legality. Now, is the issue that is being alleged by the Committee of Local Government Chairman in Rivers State, alleging that Governor Fubara has withheld funds meant for the local government for the month of April. In fact, they're saying in one local government, Ahoada, that the funds for March and April has been withheld. And they are saying that they will not even leave office after June, which is the point of expiration of your tenure. I mean, of course, another local government election should have held. But where does the independence of that tier of government, where does it lie? And what do you make of that scenario?
Well, clearly I can say for free that Governor Fubara of Rivers State has no constitutional powers to withhold local government funds. Local government tier of government is recognized by Section 7 of the Constitution. The system of democratically elected local government council areas is recognized by the Constitution. And then the Constitution also stipulates that a law must be provided by the state. In the case of Lagos State, we have local government administration law that will regulate its establishment, the structure, its finances and all that. So clearly, Governor Fubara has no right under the law to withhold the local government funds of the local government or any other local government for that matter. That is what surveillance the government.
Thank you so much indeed. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Wahab Shitu, it's good to see you again, and thanks for the insight that you have provided on this very, very troubling situation going on in the politics of Rivers State and its governance. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.